Hi. When God tells you to do something, you better do it. And I'm learning that lesson all too, all too well in real time. Yesterday, God had given me a very clear message. Um, I was struggling to understand why. Let me take these off. Why anything I have been doing, any attempts I've made to get my business recognized, have any of the messages that I have either put on social media or, requested advice, whatever the case might be. Any of the messages, any of my posts, videos, whatever it is, even comments on other people's content gets completely avoided or ignored altogether, which leads me to believe that there is a perpetual loop of invisibility that I'm living through. And I couldn't understand why, what the reasoning behind it was. Why have I been essentially a ghost on this planet while I'm still alive? And when you are not being heard, when you are not being received by anybody, whether that is, for whatever purpose, business purposes, trying to, find work, trying to get a business off the ground, whatever the case might be, you're just being completely ignored, or you feel like you've got zero place in this world. I've been feeling like that for a long time. And it's not that I feel that way, it's the actual reality of the circumstances. And when it perpetuates itself, it keeps going on and on and on this endless loop, and it doesn't end. You start really questioning the value that you bring to the world, the value that you have within yourself. You question your self worth. You question your decisions, you question everything. Everything becomes a great big huge question mark. And I have been overwhelmed by this. I have been an entrepreneur for the majority of my life. I have worked for other companies over the years. However, there's, I guess, personality conflicts. It's not necessarily even personality conflicts, because usually when I have worked for other people, um, I've done exceptionally well, and that's never been a question. However, I've always had a calling to work for myself, to be independently employed. So when you've got a creative mind, when you are constantly, creating new things, making your thoughts become reality, it it's important that that is the path that you take, because you know that you're being led to do that. And when you just can't give up on whatever it is your sights are set on, and you know that you've got to keep moving forward toward the goal, toward materializing and birthing whatever it is that you have on your heart, or you have in your mind, or you visualize being, what the world needs in terms of either products or service, or what have you. I've always been that person, and I've always known that I've got a deeper calling on my life for many different reasons. But one of the primary goals that has been set in stone for me is to create a foundation called In God's Hands. And it is a women and children life restoration center to help them escape from domestic violence and abuse, to give them all of the tools that they need, all of the resources that they need in order to get back to who they truly are, and to give the opportunity to women who have been financially abused, experienced un, uh, unbelievable abuse. And that can manifest itself in many, many different ways when you are, in those circumstances. Whatever that trauma is, it's my mission to get them out of the trauma and to help them heal and to help them grow and to be financially independent, to show their children that strength of resilience, of coming back to who they really are, who they want to be, who they visualize themselves being, not only for themselves, but for their children. We are the teachers of our kids, and we want them to be the best versions of themselves. And the only way that we could do that is to help them where they're at, get them out of those circumstances, provide them with all of the resources that they need. So that's been on my heart for a very, very long time to do that. And the reason for that is because I spent my entire life living in one form of abuse or another. And I'm I'm a very um, passionate person about making sure that these women and children have voices. Speaking of that, though, I have always wondered, okay, well, if I'm supposed to be a voice for people who are living in such horrific conditions, and this is such a big mission of mine, how is that going to happen if nobody's paying attention to me? How is that going to happen if I'm actually not being heard in this world? And regardless of what it is that I'm doing, I've been an entrepreneur, as I said, for a long time. I have been the creator of many different businesses. Some have been successful, most of them haven't. I have failed 99% of the time. I have written books. I'm an author, a published author, self-published. Um, but all of the steps that I have made to move forward have not been heard, not been recognized. I haven't made a dime off of anything that I've done online. And, I have clients who I have secured when it came to my business consulting and helping them with their, business plans, getting them in front of, the right people when it comes to securing funding or creating alliances with different government entities in different countries. I've been very successful at doing that, and I've gotten a lot of recognition and praise for the work that I've done in that particular field. But however, coming into the social media sphere and being an online presence, that's just never materialized for me. And it, it's not that I wasn't consistent. I've always been consistent, not necessarily on this channel, but I have other channels that I have been very consistent on over the years. Now, with that being said, today, actually, let me backtrack to yesterday. Yesterday, when I was journaling, and I heard specifically from God, what He had said to me was words of reassurance, words of love, and letting me know that I can't sit in my misery. I need to be aware, cognitively aware of all of the blessings that I have in my life. So when I had spoke to him yesterday, and I speak to him, directly to me, uh, he made me write down everything that I have been blessed with personally. And when I started writing and thinking and contemplating of all of the things that I have been blessed with, it gave me a sense of peace and it really calmed my spirit. The last thing that God told me to do, He told me to, He said, now film this and share it with the world. And that was in the late afternoon yesterday. And I got sidetracked, I got busy, I got focused on, creating this other platform, which the link is actually in the description here. And I'll get to that in just a moment. Very, very powerful message as well that I had received in how to not only um, have myself connected with God, but how to teach others how to connect with God, because He really does want to have that communication with you. He wants to have that relationship with you. But He told me yesterday, now film this and share this with the world. And I didn't. And I regret not listening to Him. Well, this morning I had started my journaling. I said, "Good morning. I love you. And I thank you for today. You are my strength, my fortress, my refuge. And I'm grateful for you every day." Um, I said, "I know this is random, but why am I being made invisible to the world? Why don't people see me or my worth?" And God said, "Because you have too many enemies that want to destroy what you're starting before it's ready." That really took me back. I was having a hard time digesting what he was just saying to me, telling me that I have too many enemies that want to destroy me before what I am creating is ready. And that freaked me right out. I couldn't believe that. I know that I've got somebody standing on the other side of my door right now listening to me. And this is one of the things that he has been warning me about. They will listen, they will eavesdrop, they will mock me right on the other side of the door, right there. Um, and he also said they will stop at nothing to take what isn't theirs, to have or keep. You are a light given to this world, and many don't want to see what you reflect. So they will take what isn't theirs to keep your light dim. And when I heard these words, it was like being punched in the gut, because I've worked very, very hard. And I always have a heart, not just for, women and children. I have a heart for humanity. I have a heart for seeing people do better, be better, living a better existence. And I always, when I am asked to share my thoughts, when I get asked this like personally, lots of people come to me and they are curious about what I have to say, because I am a spiritual conduit. I do speak, through the spirit, or the spirit speaks through me rather. So people are curious. They want to know. And when I say something is going to happen, it happens. And whether it is, right away, it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year, but it happens. And it happens every single time. And that is one of my gifts. Now, and it's because I know how to listen. It's because I have unblocked that filter, or that I've removed the veil, I guess, or the veil has been removed from me. So I'm able to communicate. I'm able to share truths. I'm able to prophesize about what is happening in people's lives, or what's going to happen, and maybe steer them in a different direction. But halfway through this journaling this morning, I had something take place that I wasn't expecting. And let me just read this to you, because here's where things start taking a turn. Um, it it's almost like the voice changed. I could hear it. The tone changed. The mood changed. I heard, "There is coming a time when your light will shine brightly again. Trust and have faith. You're not hidden for no reason. There is always a reason, but now is not the time for you to come out fully. It will be gradual and purposeful." And I knew something was different. So I asked, "Is this God?" And immediately I heard no. And I said, "Who is this?" And he said, "Malachi." And I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "If you please, your darkest enemy." And I asked, "Why are you my enemy, my darkest enemy?" And he said, "You seek answers to questions that you don't want to know. Yet you always ask and never act as you should. Yet you cry and gnash and never listen to what you're guided to do." This scared me. "Yet you always ask and never learn. Why do you seek answers and do nothing with the knowledge you get?" This was utterly terrifying to me to hear this, because I am familiar with who Malachi is, and I had to put everything aside and do my own research and find out, okay, who is Malachi? I know he's in the book, I know he's in the Bible, um, but I don't recall reading Malachi. However, Malachi is the last prophet, and after Malachi's passing, and he was a steward of going into the temples, going into the markets, and very much like Jesus did. But Malachi was a steward of ensuring that people heard God's word. And he became very defensive. And he was a very staunch prophet. And he would be very severe with people. He had to kind of rein himself back at times, because he would be threatened, and he would have, the crowds who wanted to beat him and stone him. And, so he would have to go into hiding, because his messaging to the priests and to the merchants were so severe. Um, and, he was just sharing what God wanted them to do, but they refused to listen. Just as he was saying, I have been refusing to listen. And I keep asking and asking and asking for his guidance, for God's guidance. But Malachi intervened and he said, "Look, you've been getting his guidance and you're not listening. So I'm stepping in now and I'm letting you know I could be your biggest enemy, your darkest enemy, or I am your darkest enemy. And the reason why is because I have not been I have not been taking heed of what God is telling me to do. And he's telling me to speak directly to you every day. When I get a message, I'm to come to you and let you know what that message is." And I have hidden myself, and I guess I only wanted to come out and talk about what I wanted. Um, what benefited me, what benefited, me financially, or um, would make me comfortable or happy. but I wasn't really coming out and sharing anything of true value. And now God is saying to me, look, enough of this. You need to do things my way. If you want to see the fruits of your labor, you need to do things as I tell you to do them. And we all have free will, and that's our problem. We have free will. So when we're asking God for his help, when we're asking him for his guidance, but then, and he gives it to us, but then we go ahead and we do something completely different, or we don't listen at all, he's going to stop coming to us, just as he had in the time of Malachi. Malachi was the last prophet for 400 years before um, before John had come along. And it had, yeah, John. Uh, so it had been that long of a time frame where God just said, I'm not sending another prophet to you. I am not sending another prophet to my children because you're not listening to my message. You are not taking heed of what I am warning you of, or what I am guiding you to do, or what I'm asking of you, which is to love. That's all God wants, is our love. He wants us to come to him. But then when we do come to him, we don't listen anyway. So it's casting pearls to swines, as Jesus said. And there's only so much that even, our Lord, our Father is going to guide us, and he will stop if we're not listening. If we're not getting the message and we are not listening to what he's telling us to do, why would he continue to guide us down this path? Why would he continue to tell us what is best for us if we go ahead and do the opposite thing anyway, or don't do anything at all, as I have learned my lesson, because I don't want to disconnect from God. But what he's telling me is, if you do not take heed of what I'm telling you anyway, if you don't listen to what I am telling you to do, which is going to lead you exactly to where you need to be on the path that you're on in life, lead you to your destined position or your ordained position, then why am I going to keep? I can go and find somebody else to do this. I don't need you to do this if you're not going to listen. And that smacked me in the face with such a massive dose of reality today. It's actually, it's a terrifying thought to know that that could be taken from me, and it can be taken from any one of us at any moment when we are supposed to be living our lives with purpose. And we have a path, which we all do, but we are not listening to him. We are not listening to his advice. We are not going down the road he wants us to go down in order to get to where we need to be. And he will take that from us. He will pass that on, that very important mission, to somebody else who will listen. So I'm just here to confess to you today that God, he is a loving God. And all he wants from us, his children, as any parent does, is to listen to his advice, to listen to his words, to love him as he loves us, which actually he already let me know that's not even possible in our human form. But to love him as we love our mother and father. He is our father, and we are to obey our parents. We are to obey God. We are not supposed to be going rogue. We are not supposed to be wandering around in the wilderness. He does not want us to wander around in the wilderness aimless, asking all the time, "Why am I here? Why am I invisible? Why am I not being heard? What is happening to me?" When he's already given you the answers 100 different times in 100 different ways, and you keep, it just goes over your head. He wants the blinders taken off now, and he asks for obedience. And I have to be obedient to God because I do not want to lose that connection that I have with him. It is the most powerful and the most profound and precious gift that I have been given. And I can teach you how to have that gift because I too, at one point, I didn't even know that this was possible to have a direct line of communication with him. But when you have it, you do not want to lose it. So I will be intentional and obedient and consistent and make sure that these messages that he gives to me, I relay to you. He just wants you to know how much he loves you. And it is very possible for every one of us to hear his voice. And sometimes we have to be course corrected by someone like Malachi to let us know, look, you're not going to keep getting the advice that you need if you don't follow it. So here's the lesson: take God for what he says, because he will never, ever lead us astray. He will never lead us down the wrong path. He will never do anything that is going to hurt you. He's always going to do what is best for you, for your highest and greatest good, and to lead you to where you're supposed to be. We all have a mission here. We sometimes get disconnected from it, but he wants you to connect with him so that you can get back to that mission because we have a job to do while we're here. It's not about just sitting on the couch watching The Simpsons or the Kardashians and eating chips and Fritos and drinking pop or whatever the case might be, or slugging down that beer. We need to take our lives seriously. We need to take being here seriously because it's a gift. It's a gift, and we're all a gift to each other. And the sooner we embrace that, and the sooner we seek God to help us move towards that gift, the better we will all unitedly be. So I hope that you take my lessons and you learn from them because I certainly am. And it's not a mistake I will make again. When he tells me to do something, I will do it. I literally got a spanking from God today. So, and that is a terrifying thing. So, I just wanted to let you know, as he has told me to do. Um, I spent yesterday afternoon creating uh, a site, a landing page for a new program. He wants me to teach you exactly what I do, how to connect with him, how to speak directly to God. And it's not something I ever thought I could teach, but I'm being guided to do it. And These teachings aren't coming from me, they're coming directly from Him through me. And it's very profound. So I have created a mini course, I guess you could say, to help anybody who is looking for that connection, anybody who is looking to speak directly to God and to hear Him, to learn how to get His direct guidance in your life. And when you have that dialogue with Him, it doesn't go away. Once you know how to open yourself up, once you get into a flow of writing and having the right mindset and the right openness to receive Him, He will come to you. And He has guided me to show you how to do that. So I have created a website. It's through my Bella Squared website, and it is called Deepen Your Faith and Hear God's Voice Through Writing. Discover divine guidance through the art of spiritual writing. And this writing journal process, it goes so deep. It it's writing prompts that will help you to open up and to be able to communicate directly with God. So I left the link in the description if you want to just get the PDF and the writing prompts, that is available to you. Or if you want to take it a step further and go a little bit deeper with me, for 4 weeks, I will be doing a one on one with anybody who wants to jump on Slack with me. And I will be giving you direct guidance on a weekly basis for 4 weeks on how to tap into your writing abilities, your journaling prompts, specific prompts. And as I'm going through my own journaling process, you'll be able to have a sneak peek behind the curtain of exactly what prompts I use every single day in order to connect directly to God. And I just encourage you that if this is a path that you know you need to be on, and if you know that you are missing something in your life, you're not able to hear from God, or you feel like you've been abandoned, or feel like you're alone, you're not. But you have to know how to connect to Him. And when He's telling us to do something, we better do it because He's not joking around. Our world is falling apart, and He needs us to hear Him now more than ever. So I encourage you to go to the website below, click on the link, and order your PDF, which is going to help you in the process of getting that direct communication with God. Or if you want to take it a step further, there's tier two, and that is the personalized experience. So you'll get the PDF and you'll get the Slack coaching from me. Now, on Slack, we can communicate in real time. We can, it would be done through messaging, but we can communicate in real time. And if you really need my guidance, I'll even jump on a half an hour video call with you directly in Slack. So it's a powerful, powerful promotion that I am doing right now. But this is for God's grace. This is for you to be able to connect directly with Him. So, the way I have structured this, it is called a bump sale. So, the first one to purchase gets it at the cheapest price, the lowest possible price. As more people are purchasing, it's bumping up that price by, by double. So, get your PDF. You can either purchase the tier one or the tier two. Either way, you are going to get all of the content that you need to tap in and learn how to speak directly to God. And it's more than just praying. It's not praying because when you're praying, you're talking to air. You're looking up at the sky. You're hoping that, some mystical being is going to answer you back. That's not the way we communicate with God. And we have all been victim of this. We have all been convinced and told that the way that you get God's attention is to, look up to this fictitious image in the sky. Well, God's not there. He's not there. He's inside here. He's already a part of you. And when you learn how to connect directly to Him, when you learn how to connect directly to the source who is already a part of us, that is when the magic happens. That is when you are able to freely go into a conversation state directly with God. And that's what He wants each one of us to be able to do. So I invite you to visit the link. It's faith.bellasquare.ca. And the link is in the description. Get yourself either the PDF copy or the PDF and Slack coaching for 4 weeks. And right now, you can get the prices are starting at $7. I mean, you can't even go for a coffee and a bagel for $7. Or we've got the tier two, which is starting at $27. I mean, that is the price of a movie ticket these days. But this is the best movie that you're ever going to see. This is a movie that you're creating with God. So go down to the link and get yourself a copy of your personalized experience talking with God, how to hear God's voice through writing. I hope that you resonated with this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe because it's God's mission that more people hear these messages, my messages to you through Him. So until next time, God bless.